Alright, so on to INI tweaks and edits to make your game run more smoothly, or rebind keys, remove the startup Unreal logo, stuff like that. First off, let's start with removing the startup screen. If you're going to be running any percent Antichamber, then this is really helpful. You won't have to watch the 3 or 4 seconds Unreal logo every single time you finish a run. So browse to your Antichamber directory, which is usually program files, Steam, Steam apps, common, Antichamber, and from there go to UDK game and movies, and from here you just want to rename all the files in here. Sometimes you'll have 2, sometimes you'll have 3 or 4. Just rename them all. What I've done personally is this bit right here that's highlighted is the original name. What I've done is added in .old to both of them, and that removes the startup logo on Antichamber. So there's a bit of a pause between the splash screen where it just shows a black Antichamber logo and the time where the game actually starts up. There is a bit of time between there, but it's not as great as the time would be with the logo enabled. So it's probably best to disable this logo if you're going to be running any percent a lot, or even 120 signs. It still helps, just being able to open the game more quickly. And onto the INI edits now. From Antichamber, go to UDK game and config, and scroll down. You want to open UDKInput.ini and UDKEngine.ini. We're going to be using both these interchangeably to edit various things. First off, let's change the escape button to Q. This is really helpful when speedrunning. You don't have to reach up to escape every time. You can just hit Q or whichever key you choose. So for me, I'm just going to search for Q since mine's already set as Q. But what you want to search for is Control F and type in escape with a capital E. And you should find the same line. This line right here is the line you're searching for. This will say escape, like that. And all you want to do is change escape to Q, or whichever other button you want to use. E, R, F, Z, X, C, whatever is preferable. Just make sure it is a capital letter. I'm not sure if lowercase letters will work here. I've always just went by the rule of capital letters, just like all the others are. Make sure the game's closed when you're saving this, or else it'll revert back. Other than that, it's pretty simple to change your any key bindings. Just search for the key, middle mouse button, for example. You can change that to whatever. Right mouse, left mouse, all this. You can just change it. Just the most important one for speedrunning is this one, escape to Q. And make sure the game's closed, save it, and start up the game, and it should be Q. Next on the list of INI edits is probably disabling the 60 FPS cap. By default, there is a 60 FPS cap, and you can't go over 60 FPS. What we've done is remove the cap. So you want to open UDKEngine.ini and search for, I believe it's bSmooth. Yes, it is. So you want to find this section right here. This should be 22 in the default version of UDKEngine.ini, and this should be, I believe it's 62 in the default version of UDKEngine.ini. What you want to do is make sure bSmoothFrameRate is set to true. I'm not sure if all caps matters or not. All the others are, so I left it is all caps. MinSmoothedFrameRate really doesn't matter too much unless you're on a lower end machine and you just want to make sure that your FPS is running a little higher, but it really shouldn't matter too much. If you're hitting 60 FPS cap anyway, then this is really the only reason you'd be removing the cap is if you're hitting it. So MinSmoothFrameRate really doesn't matter at all. MaxSmoothFrameRate is the one that you want to edit. Just make that 999. That's all you need to do. And also make sure VSync is set to false. If you're playing full screen, yes, it's going to show some tearing, but it's definitely worth it to remove the FPS cap, so you get some better mouse smoothing, and it helps with aiming and smoothness and just being able to be more precise while aiming. So even though VSync is off, I suggest playing windowed mode. I play windowed mode when I stream or do runs or whatever. But if you're going to be playing full screen, sorry, but if you want to remove the FPS cap, VSync has to be off. And bSmoothFrameRate has to be true. MinSmoothFrameRate doesn't matter. And MaxSmoothFrameRate set to 999. Make sure the game's closed. Save this. If it doesn't save, then you have user access controls enabled on your Windows 7 or Windows 8 machine, or Vista if you're even running on Vista. What you want to do in that case is make sure UDKEngine.ini isn't a read-only file. So right-click on it in the folder and go to Properties. And make sure read-only is disabled. You want to make sure that you can edit it. Other than that, if it's not allowing you to save into this folder, not much help I can give you there. Just save it outside that folder and then try to copy it in. I don't know any other way to get around that. So once you've edited UDKEngine.ini, there is a fix that you need to apply in UDKInput.ini to make sure that the frame rate, make sure that you can still do everything that you need to do. Because, for example, in-game, if I unlock all, and you can see my frame rate is around 150, 160 right now, it's climbing up. If I go to butterfly effect, with this high of an FPS, you cannot push this cube. Notice I'm holding W, holding D. You cannot push these cubes with FPS higher than 60. So running any %, this really doesn't matter, but running 120 signs, this is a huge deal. So you want to open UDKInput.ini, and what you want to do is add this line right here, so that while you're holding down LeftAlt or whichever button you prefer, while you're holding that button down, the FPS will be set to 60. And then when you release that button, it'll set FPS back to 999. And make sure the game's closed while you do this. Save it again. Game has to be closed or else all your INI edits are reverted. So make sure you do all your INI edits while the game is closed. And now while I hold LeftAlt, notice my FPS drops down to 59.99, 59.0, something around there. 60 is the cap, and now I can push these cubes. If I let go of Alt and let it jump back up to 150, 140, around there, I can't push it again. So it's a big deal in 120 signs to have a key binding for that. LeftAlt works well for me. You can use whatever else you want. Just replace LeftAlt with, whatever you're going to hold down during that time period that you're pushing any cubes. And the one at butterfly effect is really the only cube you'll be pushing in the 120 signs route. But just to be safe, make sure you have this key binding if you're going to be running at higher than 60 FPS, just as a safeguard for any future runs that include pushing the cubes or anything like that. So yeah, I believe that's all the INI edits and tweaks that we've come up with so far that are useful, aside from, increasing your speed, but that increases the full game speed, so you would have to use the game timer for a speed run in that sense if you're going to increase your speed, so it's not even worth it. It's better to just leave everything else default. And yeah, again, make sure you do all your INI edits while the game is closed. Save them, make sure they're saved properly in the correct location, and then open the game, and all your INI edits should be in-game then. If not, then change the same thing that you just changed and save it, and then set it as read-only so that the game can't change it, and see if that works. Otherwise, you can contact me via Twitch message or using my Twitch chat. I'm always in my Twitch chat. If I don't respond, though, then just send me a message on Twitch, and I can get back to you. Also, you can post on the Antichamber Reddit if you're having problems. People can help there. If you're part of SRL, then I'm always in the SRL IRC, the Antichamber, #Antichamber chat channel of the SRL IRC. There's another place you can contact me. Other than that, most of these INI edits, pretty simple, and you shouldn't have too many problems. So yeah,